Thank you, Viras, for the quick introduction. And hello, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank you for attending this webinar, and hope this session will be helpful and you guys got to learn something new from this webinar. So, as Viras says, my name is Kundan Karna, and I've been working on this IT industry for almost like 5 years. And quickly, I want to share some of the packages which I found really helpful while working with Laravel. So for the demo purpose, I have created an admin dashboard uh, where you have categories, I and tags and posts, and it's a basic setup for the demo purposes for the like to show how the packages work in a real life project. You have it's like a dummy setup where you can imagine yourself being itself in a like a real life project. So it's a basic setup where you can have categories with title and slug and tags with title and slug, and for the post you can have one category. You can have multiple tags and title and content. As you can see in the screen right now, you can have a category, multiple tags, you can select multiple tags, and you can add a title and add a content to the post. So in this session, we are talking about seven packages. As I saw it in the dashboard, you can see there are seven packages which we are going to talk about. So we will briefly introduce you to the package and show an example in this project. And also there are additional packages which I will be briefly introduce its features and what does it do. So you guys can have multiple option to choose, or it might be helpful in your next project or your current project. You might be wondering how we can do that easily. So you can use these packages for your own benefit or for your current project and next projects. So without further ado, let's start with our first scenario. I will imagine create a scenario in which we have a problem, and how the package will help us to solve that problem. So for the first package, I have Laravel migration generator. Um, it's by the Kitlong. I think I'm pronouncing that right. So what it does is, it's a package designed for Laravel developers or for us to create database migration quickly and efficiently from an existing database schema. So let me show you the scenario which I have created now. So I have 5 tables in my database. So categories, migration, post tags, and tags, which I have already shown you in the project, which is currently running. But in my code base, I have already removed all the migration file for it. For example, sometimes the client only gives you schema or SQL file and tells you that I want this schema based project. I want to create a project based on this SQL file, or you want to refactor, or you want to uh, upgrade your old projects in your system, and you want to have a single migration file for everything else, and you want to like ensure that the migration file are consistent with the database schema. We can use this package to create migration files uh, manually, sorry, not manually, quickly and efficiently. So for the first scenario, as I have shown, I have 5 tables in my database, and I have already removed all the migration file from my code. And if I have to do it manually, for example, if I have to create the tables and what are the columns and the relation, I can do that for the 5 tables like easily in half an hour or 1 hour. But imagine what if we have like 20 or 30 tables with all the relation between the tables. You can imagine the scenario, and let's show you guys how can the package help us solve that problem. So for installation, you can just install the package using the composer. So let me just quickly copy the code and show you the installation. And after installing, you don't have to do anything. It just works out of the box. You don't have to do anything. You just have to run a command. You can just a single command line to generate a migration file from the for the current database schema. Sorry. So PHP artisan migrate generate. This command is provided by the package. You can explore more about this package. You can check out the additional option we can pass into the package. Firstly, let me create the migration file. So let me go no. And as you can see, it's created. It tells me it created the following files for me in just with just a one line of command. So you can see the migration file are created with the schema create categories and the big events titles log everything else. It also handles the relation automatically from out of the box, so you don't have to configure anything. You don't have to go and write the migration file manually yourself. So I think it will be very helpful for you guys when you have to like work on older projects where you don't have the migration file, or the migration file are mismatched or everything else. You can just directly generate a new migration file for your system and work on that. So I think that will be it for the migration generator. You can see how it will be helpful for you next project or current project. So for the next package, um, let me quickly create a scenario again. Like if you create a scenario where we have the problem and show you the solution by the solution provided to the package, it will be more helpful for you guys also to know what's happening and what is the reason we are using this package. So for the next package, as you can see, it's a Laravel debug bar. If you are into Laravel development, you have already worked and you have already created lots of projects, or you are an experienced developer, you might have already used this package. For your system or your application. So what it does is it provides a visual representation of what is happening in the application. For example, in this current scenario, in this dashboard, you can see that there are, sorry, let me quickly move that away. And in the current scenario, you can see that there is a dashboard. You can see there is a route like slash and all the things. But which blade is it loading? What are the queries it is running behind the scene? What is the time it took to run the application and show it to us? What time does it took to handle that request? What are the queries running behind? What are the views it's loading? What are the information we are getting from the system? uh, I don't know about that. I just have to go through the system and go to the web file and go to the controller, go to the method and see what's the system application is returning, and see everything else with our code. And that will be a lot of hassle for us also. And while in development mode, you don't want to do that. So if you are familiar with React dev tools or Vue dev tools and everything else, you might find similar to it. So let me quickly install the package and show you how it works in our system. So let me quickly install it. Mm, Let me change the PHP version. I think it's causing because of the PHP version. Zero. Let me quickly go to its official website and see which version I have to use it for, like Laravel 9. Installation. Let me change the PHP version to 8.2. It works. And it's 3.8. Install the 2.1 version. 2.4, I think. Version 7.4, it's nice. Just a moment, I'm very sorry. It was working in the previous test, so
Okay. Maybe if I can jump in a bit, maybe if we can move forward with another package.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But the package is related to other packages, so it's
Oh,
possible for me to fix it quickly. So it was working for yesterday. I did a demo for the yesterday also. It was working fine for it.
mhm. So I think
Maybe
this is
something
just an
changed,
example of, I think,
like
Murphy's law, right? Whatever can go wrong will go wrong. So that's fine. Let's give Kundan some time to figure this thing out. So again, let me just add in that if you have any questions regarding the packages that you see uh, in the demo today, you can ask the questions by sending it to me in the chat itself. Other, Otherwise, when if Kundan feels like he needs to open the floor, you can just raise your hands and we will unmute you and you can ask the question directly to Kundan as well.
3.7. The version was already working on the previous example. Let me quickly copy and paste and do composer install. Yeah, it's working fine now. I think it's not because of composer not loading properly with the log file. There was a sometimes there will be a mismatch between the composer file and the log file, so you can have that kind of scenario where as soon as you can see that you can see the debug mode also for the purpose. So as I told you, where you like told you, if you are familiar with React Dev tool or everything else, you can see that there is a Laravel icon in the corner of our app, and as you can see, there are like tabs and everything else showing you the information of the system, like what are the messages we are getting, what are the timeline of our application, what are the exception, and which views are we loading into our application, what is the route of our application, what are the queries being executed, what are the modules being loaded, what is the mail, get, session, request. And session also, it's very useful for you if you have like session, if the session values are setting properly or not, you can check it from here. And also the request section, where you can find about the information about the request and everything else. And you can also see there is a route section where you can see what which route we are hitting, what how much memory the system used, how much the request duration used, what's the PHP version, and the folder which we have, which shows the previous URL request route we visited in our application. So this shows a lot of information. So out of the box, I didn't have to do anything. I just install the application and use it right away. So it shows a lot of information out of the box and gives helps us while while in development mode. So also it provides insight into the application performance, as I told you, database queries, views, and routes. It also shows how many queries we are running and the memory request of each and everything. So I think it will be very useful for the current for a developer to know what's happening behind the application. So let's move on to the next package, which is Laravel N+1 query dictator. Uh, if I went into the post route, as you can see, the system is taking a lot of time. It takes like 5 or 10 seconds to load. I have shown 5,000 posts at a time. So I have used pagination for 5,000 at a time, and then it's loading, and finally it loaded. Let's just take a moment to let the application load and see what's the result behind our scene. So it's taking a lot of time. And what's an N+1 query detector? It's a very useful package for Laravel developers, which allows us to detect N+1 query problem in our application. If you are familiar with lazy loading and eager loading in your Laravel application, you might have run into problem where the page is like loading slow. As you can see in the in our system, it's like taking a lot of time. And what's the reason behind it? We can see that also. I think it's taking a lot of time. Mm, I think I need to lower the amount of data. I think my Mac is not handling the current load. So let me quickly limit the data to 500 and quickly refresh the page. Yep. So as you can see, if you open the debug bar, I wanted to add that Laravel debug bar first to show you guys what's happening behind the scene. As you can see, there are 1,002 queries running in our current system. And if and this is what we call lazy loading in our Laravel application, in which we did not uh, queried the data, related data, while querying the model itself with the model. So as you can see, there are 1,002 queries running, and it taking us 680 millisecond of time, and it's loading 2,524 models and everything else. And as you can see in the views section, I can show you the parameters which is passed to the blade also. And to identify the problem, you can manually identify the problem, or sometimes you can kind of forget about it also. It's the scenario where I have shown you why like packages like N+1 query detector is useful. So let me quickly install the package and show you what it does in our system. So after installation, we don't have to configure anything. But if you want to configure, you get vendor publish the config file and everything else, and configure everything else in the sim. But if I load that page again, I can you can see that the page alerts me. It gives us the information. Found the following N+ queries in the request. In the request model app model post relation category, you should add with category to eager load this relation. So it's providing me information out of the box. I don't have to like go into the code and, oh, it's find the bug and like source everywhere, and what's causing the application to load so slow, or what's taking time. So it's telling me that the app model post relation category you see that with category to eager load this relation. Let me quickly go to the index method and quickly add the category and tags to the relation. And let me again quickly refresh the page. Sorry, quickly refresh the page. As you can see, the page is loaded instantly, and let us see our query. It's only running 4 queries, and you can see that we had previously 860 something millisecond uptime, and it's currently loading 46.39 millisecond. As you can see that the performance enhancement, and you can see that we can see that how it helps in our current scenario. So that is the advantages of N+1 query detector, which detects the lazily loaded queries and alerts you, and inform you what's missing in your system, and you can optimize your code accordingly. So let's go for the next package. It's an Laravel collective HTML. Sorry, it's for like building a form using model binding, and you can generate a HTML elements like label, input, text area, select easily with the help of PHP or this package. So let me quickly go to the official website and show you guys what it's meaning. So you can use form radio to generate a form radio easily, and also other things like checkbox, radio button, text area, password, hidden fields. You can generate all the input elements or the form elements directly out of the box without using anything else. So it's not an development environment. You can use it for production, and how it helps and how it works in the scenario. Let me show you the example by installing it first and show you how the previous code is running and how we can implement it and upgrade our code. Or so now let's go to our post and add. And in our code, let me quickly close all the tabs and go to our resources, views, post, and create. Also the post controller. Let me show you what is happening behind the scene. I am returning a view with post.create with all the model and the categories and tags for the dropdown and everything else. Also for the routes and post method from the controller itself, you can do it in your style, but for the demo purposes, I found it easier for to you send the URL and method for the from the controller to the blade so I can use as a variable to it. So in the edit section, as you can see, I have used post.edit. Uh, what I'm trying to say is there are two blade files for the same form. I want to create a post and I want to edit the post, but the blades are separated into two files. So if I want to change, I want to add something to the blade, or I want to add something to the form, I have to add in two places. Also, I have to like check the value if it's null or not. I have to loop for the select option for the category. As you can see in the create, I have to loop the options, and if the I have to like add a select to it in the edit form. If I can say that if the category model dash category dash ID is equal to ID, I have to like add the selected option, and everything else I have to do it manually. And the tags also there, like I have to option first and like add selected it and everything else. And for also for the value, I have to mention it myself that the value of it will be the model and title. I don't have any option to directly like link the values directly if I want to do. So what the collective HTML do is like upgrade or generate the HTML input from the form method and using the form select option. You can see that I have used form model, which means that I want to bind the values of the inputs to a model, and automatically it figure out or it checks for the value name in the model and automatically set the value accordingly. So as you can see, there is no CSRF token, and you don't have to mention it if you are using the collective HTML. And there is no like @ method where I have to like manually tell that if this is an post method and if this is an update method, you have to like put another section like method and put. I don't have to do that. It's automatically handled. If you mention in the attribute option section, you can just send the method, and the form collected HTML will directly convert the add the input hidden with the related input. So as you can see in the form select, I don't have to do anything. I said form select, and the name of the input I can show like options. What are the options? You can pass it and collection also, or you can pass it an array also. I have added one array with another array, categories to array, and this is the value section where you want to like, this is the selected, this ID will be selected in your application. You can pass other HTML element attributes like class and ID or everything else manually from here. And also for the tags, uh, you have to the same scenario. And for the title, we don't have to do anything. You can just say title for the slog. And I noticed that I haven't told that there is like, this is an value of a model dash slog and everything else. So let me quickly show you guys by copy and pasting it. Okay, and change the controller to our new plate form. I want the both method like I want to use the single blade for both store and update of the application post. So if I load that, you can, as you can see, the contents are the same. There is nothing different in our form. And as you can see, I don't have any options. I don't have to manually tell that this is selected, this is anything else. And I can just select the application as it is. And I can say collective form. Form and connect content to collective form. Let me quickly save. As you can see, it's working nice. Where is the actions? It's hidden in here. Let me quickly edit it. And as you can see, voila, there is no any other configuration. I have seen the same, I have used the same blade file to use the form. And as you can see, I haven't mentioned anywhere that this is the model dash tags or model dash title, and this value will be this. It automatically sets the value according to your name provided by you and provided by this name. and it checks for the model dash tags or model dash title and sets the value automatically for you. If it's null or if the model doesn't exist, it automatically creates an empty value for you. You don't have to do anything and everything yourself. So also one thing I want to mention is, as you can see for the relations part also, for example, that post belongs to multiple tags. As you can see, there are the tags are already selected. You don't have to do it yet, meaning that it also handles the relations data itself. So you don't have to do it manually. That is one advantage. There are lots of advantages. You can like explore yourself. You can view the documentation and find it yourself a lot about it. I think you will love it, guys. I think you will love it. So let's move on to our next package. It's Laravel auditing. Uh, let's just create a scenario again where we'll discuss the problems and we'll try to find a solution. Sometimes, as you can see, I have created a post. Let me quickly first limit the post number so I can scroll down easily. Let us assume a real life scenario where you have a post with a content that the writer took like 2 or 3 days to create, and some user accidentally deleted the content and added something new. Added new, and the previous content is gone now. You don't have any record of it. You didn't know what was the content, and now like you have to like search for it in the database. If you have database backup, you have to search it there, but you don't uh, have the privilege, or you don't get to know what happened to the previous post. So to tackle that problem, to help us record the modal changes and everything else, we have a package called Laravel Auditing by ONIT. ONIT, I think what it does is it's provides an easy way to track changes to eloquent models. Like I showed you what happens if we change the content of the post, what if I change the title of the post, but you don't have the previous record, what was it in the before updating, what happens to the old content. You want the old content now, what happens? You don't have it. So what you can do is, let's install our application, sorry, package in our application, and you can use this application in your model by going to the post. Let me zoom in, and it implements a auditable contract. Sorry, not implements. The second, yeah, it implements auditable. My PHP system is not loading the. Did I just install a different package? No. Let me see. The PHP Storm is indexing it. It should recognize it. Implements model contracts. And you can use the Laravel ON IT auditing auditor as a trait in your model. Let me check if it's working or not. Yeah, it's working. I think my PHP storm is trying to find the class and it's not working on it. So let's just keep PHP storm a moment and see what happens in our application. So after adding the or Laravel auditing package, I can let us go to its auditing documentation, and we have to publish the migration file for it so that we can record our changes in the database itself. So let's just go to the get started page and installation. After that, we have to publish this code. So I can just go to this and publish the migration file and migrate database already exists. Let me clear migrate this, and I can generate the seeds also. And let's go to our post. What if we change like the content of the post of our application, right? So what happens if I change the content to something new and update it? Slog has already been taken. Let's see, okay. Is our database seed completed? Yes. And let's just quickly go to our database and see what happens to the audit table. So as you can see, after adding the audit contracts and implementing the trades, implement the contracts and adding the trade, you can see the old in our database there is a record with the auditable type and user type. If a user has changed something in your model or something, updated the content of the model, you can see the user type and user ID and the old values. You can see that what was the old values before the model changed to the newer values. So you can see that there is a title slog and contain, and in the new values you can see that the content is something new. And you can also see the URL, IP address, user agent, tags, created, updated. So basically it records your, it helps to change, track the changes in your model, maintain an audit trail, generate reports, and also integration with all packages. You can also add customization. You can also add audit include. Let me quickly so. You can use audit include. You can also tell the package to only track the changes in this column. So you don't add all the content. You don't like haphazardly add all the records into your system or audit all the content of your columns and expand the database largely. So you can just include only tell the package to include this column in the record and use it that way. And that is for the auditable. I think it would be helpful for you guys if you want to use it in your application for the for to track the changes in your relevant model. And for the next part is Laravel translatable. Let's create a scenario like we previously used. What if I want to make the post like in multi-language? I want to create a title which can which can be used for the by which can be read by multiple nationalities, and I want to share my post to like multiple language. But what how will we approach it? I can add a next column like title underscore en, title underscore np, title underscore something else, or I can do like something as a JSON or everything else. We have to do it manually. But to help solve that problem, we have a Laravel translatable package. Let's just dive into it and see how it works behind it in our system. So after publishing the after installing the package, all you have to do is go to your model and use has translation attribute. My PHP system is not working properly. It's not indexing it. Let me quickly use the as translation. And I have to provide the translatable file column, meaning that I have to tell the package that which columns I want to translate. For example, in this demo purpose, I have, I wanted to translate the title of the post so that I can show the title for the different language in different language and reach out more peoples and helpful that reach out to more people. So after using it, uh, one thing the package recommends is, and we have to like change the post tables title to uh, as in JSON, meaning that it can accept multiple and JSON values, so it can add multiple language titles in our single column. So accessing it will be more easy for us to use. So let me quickly migrate first. We'll change in our system. The title can't have a default by the string. So in JSON, we can have the default string. So let me remove that and try it again. So now it works fine. And for the categories, let us add a new category ourselves. So let's say I want the sports category. And for the tags, I want, let's say, Nepal. And another tag, I want to have Proshore. And for the post, let's add a new post with the select category tags. I want to add both tags and in the we have to also have to change the blade file to accept the multiple language. So I have already like behind the scene, I already created a layout for you guys so that we don't have to do again and again. We don't have, so that will be it. And also for the request where we are validating our request, we have to change the request files, the request also to accept array as a value in our post. So let me quickly uncomment this line and comment the title. Now we want the title to be an array and we want the Nepali field and an English field. So update the title, this also and this also. Let's see if it's worked. Hopefully it works. So as you can see, there is a two tabs in our form. One is for English and one is for Nepali. I can add, sorry, title in English and title in Nepali. So basically we are just setting up our system. So let me add an English title and copy the content, and I want to add a Nepali title. Let's just save it and hope it works, and it's working fine. And quickly, I will quickly show you guys the index page. So it's helpful. So if I wanted to use like the title of the application, it's currently showing the English title. And what if I want to show the Nepali title and based on the localization of your system? For example, and if the localization is in Nepali, I want to show the Nepali title. But if it's in English, I want to show it in English title. So I have already created a route to change the localization. So I'll just change the title and go to the post. As you can see, the Nepali title is being rendered here. So I have not changed anything. I just set the record title and behind the scene translatable checks for the localization and checks if the localization key exists in our application, in our column title, and display that in our system. So in the database, you can see there is an English and Nepali in our title. So it will automatically checks for the key and according to the localization and display the appropriate text or appropriate value in your application. So you don't have to worry, like if the localization is Nepali, I want to show the Nepali text. I want to, you don't have to like use if and else condition in entirely your application. So for the last package, ever you wonder what is happening in your log file, like what are the information you are getting, what are the errors you are getting. And if I wanted to see the log file, let me go to quickly go to the storage logs and ls. There are, I can just nano the laravel.log, and there is a lot of information like what's happening. uh, I don't know anything else. I can't see the proper information here. I can identify what's happening behind the scene. So if you want, if you sometimes need, or if the your project or your current application requires you to like view the log time to time, or you want to like see what's happening in my log, what are the errors you are getting, so you can use this package Laravel log here. It's by, sorry, I can't pronounce it. Opodicius. I sorry for if I mispronounce it. Let me just add the sorry. Go to our application directory and quickly install the application. And I think it requires again Laravel 8.0. Nice. And to view the log file, let me quickly, you can just go to the log dash viewer in your application. And you can see we had 4 log file in our storage logs, and by clicking it, you can see the information in your system. You can filter your log files. You can browse via files, like what are the errors you are getting, what's happening in your log file. You can just see the newest first, or you can paginate your, you can refresh, you can download your log file in your in your system and view there, or you can just oldest first, filter your entire log file in an easily and visually. You can analyze the log files visually. So I think it will be very useful, and you guys find this package also useful in your application where you are development mode. You can see the log file and fix the errors in your application, and optimize your code and fix the bugs and errors and everything else. And I think it's all for the our demo purpose. We have already talked about our 7 packages, and for the additional packages, I will only give you a brief introduction. So for the additional packages, there is a Laravel avatar. As you can see, this avatar, which is I have currently loaded in the system. You can just use PW Laravel avatar to generate this kind of avatar for your application, and also for the Laravel activity log to log the user's activity or the model eloquent model activities, which is similar to Laravel auditing. And Laravel audit activity log provide both of the functionality in the same package. And also the for the mat website Excel, it's a package which helps you import and export Excel in your app easily and effectively. So for the Laravel ballot, as you can see in the browser, there is a webinar.robust. If I want like the a different kind of, if I want to like uh, use the multiple application or multiple projects running in PSP or Laravel in my system inside a folder or anything else, I can use Laravel Valid. which is an Laravel official package by the Laravel. But if you want to use in Linux or Ubuntu, there is a different version for it of it also. You can use it in also. And also for the authentication with Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google, GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, you can use Laravel Socialite. It's a very popular package. If lots of developers use these packages for authentication via third-party software. And uh, if you want to manage user permission and roles in a database, data with a database and in a managed way without doing anything, you can use Laravel permission. And I think that will be it from my side. Uh, Thank you for everyone for your valuable time, and hope this session you find and hope in this session you find something useful and something new. And also thank you for Proshore for providing us a platform to share our knowledge with each other. Thank you guys again. So back to Viraj.
Okay, so let's move to our next session. That's Q&A session. I did get a couple of questions. So let me just open my notepad. I've recorded it. And okay, so the first question is from Santosh. So I think he was initially there when we started our stream. So what he asks is, what was the reason for the Laravel debugger bar not installing properly? And how did you figure out the solution for it?
So what was happening was I was like using the packages and testing out for the demo purposes. And sometimes the composer.log file will differ from the composer.json where the composer.log file is already locked into a certain state and the composer.json is not updated to the system. So that was happening in our system. Also, the package was showing us the error of like it requires a Laravel Illuminate 9 or something else, which means that the package not installing can be caused by the different scenarios. First is PHP version, meaning that the PHP version doesn't match the requirement of the package. Second is Composer version, and third is the other packages which are causing the issue. For example, if the other packages requires another packages for certain version, but what you are installing like Laravel debugger requires different kind of version, that also can cause an issue. So sometimes you have to like composer update to update the log file, and or you can just change the PHP version to see if it works. And also certain package also needs to be in to needs to work if it's for like Laravel 9, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, there are specific version for specific Laravel packages also. I think that will answer his question.
Okay, I hope it does, because I can't see him in the chat right now. Okay, so the next question is from Uday, and he asks, "Wh- why is there dash dash dev in some installation commands but not in others?" So if you can please scroll up, I think we can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. So uh, what dash dash dev means is it's like a shorter version for development, meaning that the packages which are installed by using dash dash dev, it's only used in development mode, meaning that you don't use it in production. You don't give it to the client by using the Laravel debug bar or something else. For example, as you can see, there is a debug bar where you can see all the codes and all the things happening inside your application. You don't want to push that into the production mode. So what it does is it tells the composer that we only require this package in development mode. We don't want it in production. We don't want to ship it. We don't want anything else while it's in production mode. We don't want to do anything with the package. So just install it for me while I am developing the application. So that will be it. I think that will answer his question. Dash dev means dash that development where we are developing the application.
Okay, so that was all the questions that I had in the chat. So let me just open the floors. If there are any questions from the current participants that are here. So let me just, yeah, if you have any questions, please raise your hand and unmute yourself and please ask questions if you have any. Yeah, one, so maybe not. So I think they would want to test out so they would want to test out the following packages, and if they have any questions, maybe they can contact you directly in your
Yeah,
LinkedIn. Yeah.
yeah,
So
sure.
please go ahead with that. Please try it yourself. And if you have any questions, you can ask Kundan. Personally, for me, I think I would be adding the Laravel log viewer. It is something new that I learned about today, and I think I would be using it in my current project. I think which would be very helpful. So with that, if there are no questions from the participants, then I would like you all. I would like to thank you all for joining us in today's webinar, and I would like to again remind you that please follow Proshore on our social media and social media link, and so that you can know about the future events that we are uh, planning out. So we would be coming up with other knowledge sharing sessions that might be helpful for you guys. And the thank you, yeah. So you can see the links towards our social medias in our chat as well. Other thing is that if you have registered for this event via your email address, you would be getting the recorded version of today's webinar in your email as well. So with that, I would like to, otherwise, if you are not, so let me just come again. So if you are not registered yet, you can just send us an email in events@proshore.eu to get access to this recording as well. So with that, I would like to officially end this session, and
Thank you, guys.
thank you all for joining us and constantly being a part of it. So I do see a couple of people dropping out, but most of you are still here. So thank you all for staying with us for your precious time as well.